yourself?
Thunderstorm Charles dumping snow all over the Delaware Valley, and right now it's going to be changing to a slippery, wintry mix, making it more of a mess for the rush. News 10 is all over the region today. We start in northeast Philadelphia, where for at least a while the plows couldn't keep up with the snow. Drivers had to take it extra easy on the roads. Around midday, when the snow started falling harder, children in Philadelphia got a longer weekend, at least by a few hours. They're happy. News 10 at Woodrow Wilson Middle School in northeast Philadelphia. Public and parochial schools were let out at 1:30, and later you could find students on tubes and sleds all over the area. To Chester County now. It was really coming down on Route 202 in Tredeferin. Drivers could hardly read the street signs. Many had their lights on and were slowing down for safety. Good idea. The plows were out in full force and off the road. So were the shovels at the Gateway Shopping Center. There just weren't many shoppers out today. That's the only problem. The place looked almost deserted. And now to the south in Delaware. Wilmington saw its share of snow, and trying to make these steps safe seemed like a never-ending job. Besides the snow, there was wind. Take a look. For a while, the snow was coming down horizontally. Get home. Some people couldn't get onto the bus fast enough.
Well, again, this is a developing situation, and News 10 has live coverage across the area. Right about now, the snow is supposed to be making the roads pretty slippery. This is a live look from near the Plymouth Meeting Mall in Montgomery County. It's slow going on the Pennsylvania Turnpike and the Blue Route in the area. We'll have the latest on traffic conditions in just a few minutes. All right, let's take a live look in Bucks County. News 10 in New Britain, Bucks County. Since it's a little further to the north, the snow is expected to stay snow a bit longer before turning into rain. All right, let's get the latest on this storm from John Bolaris and Earthwatch. John, what a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mixed bag out there. As forecast yesterday, today was going to be one of those messy weather headache days, and yeah, it turned out to be that way. Let's check out how much snow did we receive. A little bit more than forecast. We were forecasting in and around the city 1 to 2 and 2 to 4 north and west. We averaged between 2 to 4 inches of snow. Fricks in Bucks County, 3 inches of snow. Pottstown picked up 3, Exton 3, Wilmington 3.25, but you now have freezing rain. That's not a good sign. Glassboro, the changeover is taking place, 3.5 there. At the airport officially, now it's sleet, 3 inches of snow. Mount Holly is changing over to sleet, 3 inches of snow. 2 inches in Trenton, still snowing there. We head to the south and east. A little bit more in the way of snow to the south and east. Vineland picked up 3 inches, now changing to sleet. Bridgeton 4 inches, now changing to sleet and rain. Estelle Manor, it's raining, 1.8 inches of snow. Atlantic City, you did not report yet. We need your report. Manahawkin, Ocean County, 4 inches of snow. Where is it now? Radar picking up. The heaviest activity is pretty much north and east of the city now, sliding towards New York City. The remains will be with us for tonight. Your evening rush will feature some ice in the city, Point, south and east, all rain, extreme southern Jersey and across central southern Delaware, but it's still snowing just to the north and west of the city. King of Prussia, you're reporting snow. Allentown, you still have snow. Harrisburg, snow, and that snow will continue for a while longer up in that neck of the woods until eventually it changes over to sleet and freezing rain there. I'll have the complete 5-day, and yes, perhaps more surprises in your weekend forecast. That's coming up in just a little bit, Larry.
Got a feeling it's a bad surprise. Now let's just hope the bosses were kind today and let people hit the roads early before that ice and sleet.
Boy, that'd be nice. You know, it's going to be tricky out there with this mixture. Let's check in with Mark Davies. How are things going?
Well, tricky indeed. I mean, there's basically the major highways, the roadways with lots of lanes and stripes. They're mostly wet and slushy. The secondary roads, that can be a real challenge. Snow-covered and slick. Watch out for any spot with a hill. Starting Center City and the Vine Expressway by the Schuylkill Expressway. What you can see, still some precipitation coming down here. It's solid across town, mostly in the eastbound direction from 76 across to 95 north. A look at the boulevard by Ridge Avenue, north and southbound, just creeping along. South isn't quite as bad, but still it's jammed basically between the Wayne Avenue overpass and the Schuylkill. Let's look at the Schuylkill out by Gulf Mills. Westbound traffic here just creeping along as far back as about Conshohocken out to King of Prussia. A map of the Jersey Turnpike, a bit of a problem here. Northbound north of exit number 5, an accident involving a bus and a couple of lanes blocked. At least 2 out of the 3 lanes blocked there. plus a 35-mile-per-hour speed restriction between 1 and 7A, and of course, a motorcycle and trailer ban in effect for the length of the Jersey Turnpike, like you'd really want to ride a motorcycle there. Look at 95 at Cottman, northbound traffic as well as southbound. Northbound's a bit worse, jammed basically from Center City up to about Cottman. In the News 10 Metro Traffic Center, I'm Mark Davies for News 10.
Hey, Mark, although things are really going slow and there seems to be a lot of traffic, doesn't seem like there's a lot of accidents.
Well, there's no one major accident. Today's the kind of day with a lot of fender benders, and it's the kind of day where you should think about your insurance deductible as you make that trip. It's really important.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
People are taking it slow, and that's some good news.
Slipping and sliding out there. News 10 has live team coverage on how Winter Storm Charles is affecting the areas north of the city where the most snow should fall.
We begin in Mercer County, New Jersey. At last report, still taking a pounding from the storm. News 10's Terry Ruggles is live in Trenton now to update us. Terry?
Hey there, I'm in the Chambersburg section of the state capitol along Hamilton Avenue. This is rush hour, slush hour, but nobody rushing anywhere with any great speed because of the road conditions. We heard John give the depths. I've got a ruler here with me. Let's take a look at some fresh snow and see what we've got here at Columbus Park. Well, what's that read there? About 3 inches or so by my estimate. That's here in Columbus Park. So it's not Chicago, but this is a day that hasn't been any fun here in the Garden State.
These roads are terrible. Actually, you really shouldn't drive right now.
It's been slow going on Route 70 in Cherry Hill.
It's really bad. The roads are really bad.
And the story is the same in Mount Laurel, where drivers do their best on Route 73. How do you find the roads out today?
Oh, man, they're slick. They're slick as a snake in a bucket of spit.
I never heard that one before either, but Tom Price, an auto insurance adjuster, says this type of weather is going to make him a busy man. On a day like this, how much extra business will you pick up?
Oh, we go up about 45 to 70%.
Salt trucks are out, but as the snow comes down, it's been hard to keep up. Major highways like 295 are snow-covered. Even going at half the posted speed limit, Craig Berman ended up in the median.
It was just, it was slippery, and the car just started veering off a little bit. So I went down right into the goalie, and now I can't get out of here.
In Hamilton Township, Mercer County, schools had early dismissal. Sam and Caroline Clark took the opportunity to help Mom put salt on the sidewalk and driveway. What happens if you don't clean the walkway?
Somebody might slip who we know. If people fall and trip, that would be an accident.
People could get hurt, huh?
Right.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
No.
I've got to admit, meeting the Clark kids made my day for being outside today. So 3 inches of snow here in the state capitol. And let's step over to the old Channel 10 weather tree layer. I put a thermometer out here about a half an hour ago, and it is reading, by my estimate, what does that say, 22 degrees or so. So we haven't made the change over here yet in the lower part of central Jersey or the upper part of southern Jersey, whichever way you want to look at it. Coming down right now, some big flakes, some icy crystals, and some just plain water. So that mixed bag that Kathy was talking about is the name of the game here along Hamilton Avenue in the Chambersburg section of Trenton. We'll be back at 5 o'clock with an update. Reporting right now from Trenton, I'm Terry Ruggles, News 10.
Still have a hard time getting over the saying, slick as a snake in a bucket of spit.
I didn't know whether the news director would buy that or not, so I figured we'd just say it once. I didn't know you'd bring it up again, Larry.
I promise I won't bring it up anymore.
All right.
I hope it doesn't catch on. The storm is also dumping quite a bit of snow on the Lehigh Valley.
News 10's live team coverage continues now from Allentown with meteorologist Kathy Orr. Hey, Kath.
Oh, good afternoon. What a wild one it's been. We have been driving through the highways all day today. The morning, I was at the airport. This afternoon, we are driving up to Allentown, and we have seen pretty much everything throughout the Delaware Valley, even a couple of cars wiping out, really not judging the distance that was needed between the car and the car in front of them. Right now in Allentown, we are on the top of the hill at the observatory, and I'm almost seeing like a misty snow starting to mix a little bit in with some freezing precipitation, some sleet, but right now coming down very lightly. That wasn't the case earlier on today. With a temperature of 21 degrees, it will take a little more time for the change over here, but for many drivers out there today on the area highways, the weather has been relentless. With light snow continuing to fall and moderate traffic, the northeast extension was snow-covered throughout the day and slippery. The speed limit is usually 65 miles an hour on this highway. Today, most vehicles are keeping their speed down to about 40 miles an hour. In snowy conditions, you need 2 times the amount of space between you and the car in front of you. In icy conditions, you need 4 times. And that's something really to remember, especially because right now we're...
CDs, here's how to order. Call this toll-free number now for Instrumental Legends. Cassettes $19.98, CDs $26.98 plus $4.95 shipping. Have your credit card ready and call now.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Snowy scenes from New York City with the Friday rush hour underway and wintry weather moving through the Northeast. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Weather Center. I'm Janetta Jones, live in the Forecast Center. We are going to be following all of this wintry precipitation as it moves through the Great Lakes in the Northeast and the Ohio Valley. And we're going to tell you about the severe weather threat throughout parts of the South in just a moment. Right now, let's focus in on the wintry precipitation, and we look at the satellite first of all, and we've superimposed the radar for you to show you that the precipitation is prevalent across the Great Lakes and also into the Northeast. Most of this is in the form of snow. However, we do have some freezing rain and sleet starting to mix in. Some rain is starting to mix in here along the coast, and that's going to be the case as we move on into the overnight hours. It's going to turn over to mostly rain for folks right along the coast. But for now, we are still getting a mix. We're still getting snow in New York City. We're still getting freezing rain in Atlantic City, and also some freezing rain starting to set up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Right in here, that's where we have been seeing the freezing rain and sleet starting to mix in, and that's pretty dangerous, folks, especially if you're out and about on those roadways. We want you to be extra careful. Take it easy on all of these interstates. We're talking snow in Boston and New York City. We're talking a changeover in Philadelphia with rain and light sleet being reported. As a matter of fact, we have some pictures for you out of Philadelphia, and you can see the radar here. The precipitation continues to be a problem. Snow slowed down your morning commute in Philly, and the afternoon has not been much better. The snow was mostly light to moderate, but there were some bursts of heavy snow as well. And the snow is now mixing with ice and rain, and so that's making for a messy commute for everyone involved. So slow it down out there if you possibly can. Be extra careful. Keep in mind in New York City it's still all snow, but that is subject to change any moment now. We could see it change over to ice, and then eventually it's going to be in the form of rain. Let's take you to the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes right now and talk about the freezing rain in Pittsburgh, the snow in Cleveland, the snow in Detroit, the snow in Chicago, and also into Milwaukee. We are probably going to be getting 1 to 3 inch accumulations. Some locales could get 3 to 6 inches of snow, though, before all is said and done. And colder air will move in later on tonight and into tomorrow, and we'll get more snow showers through the day tomorrow in these areas. Tell you what, we have a crew standing by in Cleveland. Jim Cantori is there. Jim, can you tell us if conditions have changed any?
Jeanette, if I had to make an observation right now, a meteorological observation, it would be very light snow, so it would be S- and then ZL, which is freezing drizzle. So we actually have a little bit more freezing drizzle coming down now, and that is causing some problems, I'm sure, on the roadways, just enhancing what we've already got going on here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the roads. Now, this is Highway 2, by the way. 90 is off to the west and east of here, so this kind of allows the traffic to come from the downtown area and connect to the major interstate. And pretty much, the precipitation has not come down hard enough where they have not had a chance to keep up with it. And that is obviously great news. We just haven't had that intensity, that 1 to 2 inch an hour type rate that we had with the last storm where they just got overwhelmed. But even given that said, you can see here along the roads that we still do have a slush. And when they do come by and scrape and even throw a little bit of salt on this, it just kind of gets remixed up and really doesn't melt. I mean, temperatures are still in the upper teens, so that does not allow for great melting of the precipitation. So kind of a sloppy night on the roads, enough so there are some traffic accidents tonight, some slow goes on the highways. We've seen a lot of the kids in Cleveland and also in the suburbs were sent home at noontime today because of the adverse weather expected this afternoon on into tonight. But this is what's hard about these storms. It's not just one big storm like we had last time. It is several waves of light precipitation which can kind of nickel and dime you. And eventually, if things get organized enough, you can get heavy bursts of snow. And that's what we'll be here looking for, those heavy bursts. And that's what's really going to slow the area down. Good news again, Janetta. Yeah, unfortunately, the second weekend in 1999 is unsettled weather, but this is not a huge holiday travel weekend as was last weekend. Back to you.
Yeah, it is good news. Thanks so much, Jim Cantori. Keep an eye on things there for us, and we'll check back with you. As we check in on what's happening in the Ohio Valley, I can tell you this. It has been a mess any way you slice it. In Louisville, the temperature has warmed above the freezing mark now, and you're getting rain. But what a mess you had this morning. Freezing rain fell on top of the snow you had yesterday, and that put a coat of ice on everything. So that just made things lovely for your commute this morning. Looks like your commute tonight is going to be a rainy one. All of this across parts of Kentucky in the form of rain. We are getting freezing rain, though, in Evansville and Cincinnati. 21 degrees right now in Chicago. You factor in the wind, though, and you can see it feels like 0. And here we have the leading edge of the colder air that will be moving in this direction overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow. Expect a warming trend, though, in New York City, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. Check it out. 3 to 6 inches of snow expected. And this is the early evening map. We are anticipating the rain to move northward into New York City and eventually into Hartford, Providence, as well as Boston by tomorrow morning, with snow backside of that area of low pressure. We'll keep you posted. As always, if you're away from your television set, we have more information on the internet at weather.com. Now we go back to the studio and Rich Johnson.
All right, thank you, Janetta. As we look out across the southern United States, we have a tornado watch in effect for areas of the Gulf coastal states, not including New Orleans and not including Jackson or Little Rock, but sort of in between all of those cities. Well, as we check out the situation, we have a low pressure center crawling up this front.